Hello, it is Friday, December 24th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. And I've sort of just realized, as I was recording that dateline, that it's Christmas Eve. And it's Friday, so it's a themeless puzzle. And so is tomorrow, actually. Friday and Saturday are the themeless days of the puzzle-solving week, so we won't be having any Christmas-themed puzzles. I mean, maybe, I don't know, we'll have to see if we have any subtle nods in the themeless grid towards the holidays, but certainly no fully themed puzzles. And they're the tricky ones, the tough puzzles. We'll have to see how that goes. Today's difficult puzzle, or at least the solve, is brought to you by Cass Wilkinson Saldana, Dan Stocco, and Stephanie Fredericks, as well as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you so much to those benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, and thank you to everybody who has backed the Daily Solve Patreon campaign at any level. It's what helps me make this series a sustainable part of my daily work, so thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to join their ranks, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve, where there's a whole wealth of videos that date back months that I've been doing the Patreon campaign, all sorts of bonus solves. I saw in the Daily Solve, actually, Discord chat server, someone mentioned that they had been binging months of those for a long plane ride. So that was nice to see. Happy to help in that with that particular bit of tedium. Anyway, let's see. Yesterday's clues. Sorry, sort of spaced out for a moment there. Let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. Jake McGuffey says, during my time learning snare drum at school and college, I understood the rim shot to be a note which hits both the skin and the rim of the snare drum simultaneously, achieved by hammering down the drumstick at a very flat angle. That is true. I think I misspoke. Jake continues, what you were referring to, Chris, I was taught to be a rim click or a rim tap, in which the drumstick is laid flat against the snare and the head occasionally chomps in an up-down motion against the rim alone, like a crocodile's mouth, the kind of technique seen in bossa nova, for example. Yes, that is true. I'm a Brit, so perhaps such technical language varies somewhat in its journey across the pond. No, it doesn't. I just misspoke. And Jake continues, over here it's very natural for the badum-tsh pattern to be considered a rim shot. The subtleties of language are wonderful things to notice sometimes. Yeah, that's true, I think, both in the US and the UK, or North America and the UK. I just think it's wrong. That's all. I don't think I was, that at least I wasn't trying to imply was any kind of regional thing. I just think the badum should not be called a rim shot, and I don't think it properly is, but that's just me being an irritating pedant, so feel free to ignore me. Anyway, Kathy Swope explains that John Rae, R-A-E, was a Scottish explorer of northern Canada in the mid-1800s. He was the last Hudson Bay Company explorer sent by the company to chart the northern lands in search of the elusive Northwest Passage. In the process, he not only discovered the last missing link to the passage, but also the fate of the long-lost Franklin expedition. Very interesting. And Umbra explains that ORD, the airport code for Chicago O'Hare Airport, which always felt sort of baffling to me, Umbra explains that comes from the old name for O'Hare Airport, Orchard Field, ORD for Orchard. It was renamed after a World War II Medal of Honor recipient, Edward Butch O'Hare. It's interesting that sometimes those get renamed and sometimes they don't, because New York City John F. Kennedy Airport is, of course, JFK, but that was formerly Idlewild Airport. So I don't know where that falls in the history in terms of when the abbreviations were determined or what. All right. Robert Stevenson says, ecto means surface or external, e.g. ectoparasites. Yes, that's true. I confused, I think, if I recall correctly, I think yesterday I confused ecto and endo and exo maybe. Exo and ecto both mean external, and endo means internal. So, or wait, no. Now I'm confusing myself again. I'm going to move on. Sorry. Let's just look it up. This is a snippy segment today, isn't it? Anyway, Chaz Maru, this is quite interesting, I would say. Chaz Maru says, about World War I, there was a famous segment on BBC's popular trivia show QI explaining the First World War was not named as such in 1939 or later, as one would assume, but as soon as 1918 by the British military. The term was then popularized via a history book published in 1920. The adjective first was not used in a pessimistic, prescient way, but rather to emphasize the unprecedented scale of the conflict. You can easily find this QI segment on YouTube. It's pretty funny, despite the subject matter. That is a great clarification. I really enjoyed that. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the puzzle itself. Feels like that's due. This is a crossword constructed by Evan Kalish and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's see what we have in store for us today. Retreated. Feels though that could be a few things. Drop. I mean, it could be fall. Again, I feel as though that could be a number of things. Oh, wait. Sorry, I just saw 9 down. Besides Brunei, the only current sovereign sultanate. I think Oman is a sultanate. So let's try that. And drop. Not sure still. 13, we have artificial intelligence system modeled on the human brain. Is that a neural net? A neural network, a learning computer? Something that gets passed around a lot. A meme, I suppose, by definition, gets passed around a lot. Okay, let's look at the crosses on neural nets, see if we can confirm or deny that guess. A sequencing locale, that could be a DNA lab, maybe. Certainly something we hear a lot about now, genome sequencing. Polish, I guess it could be Polish. It's probably Polish. And a triumphant shout, could be maybe hurrah or hooray. Let's look at the cross here. Recipe direction. Something you're directed to do in a recipe. Bake, I suppose? No, doesn't really fit with hurrah or hooray, does it? So if that were an H, doesn't really look like anything. Or a Y? I don't know. I wonder if DNA lab is incorrect. Let's see. Although H does look sort of strange with that D. So yeah, I'm going to delete both of those. And let's keep looking at the crosses here and see. Black boy, memoirist, Richard. Oh boy, this really... Why do I not remember this? That's infuriating. Gets the batter out, say. Is this a baseball thing or a baking thing? I don't know. Here we have blank, poor Romeo. Alas, poor Romeo, surely. Wolf's home. Maybe this isn't neural net. This doesn't seem... Nothing seems like it's working out here. I would have assumed a den for a wolf's home. Here we have monitor. Maybe I should delete everything. Perhaps everything has been a mistake so far. Oops. Okay, let's just keep looking through the crosses, see if we can get any other easy gets. I mean, this won't be one for me, that's for sure. Golfers Ernie Els and Retief Goosen for 2. I don't know. But there's 2 of them, so it may end in an S. Office address abbreviation. That could be a suite number for an office in a building. Simple and glib. Could be pat. A pat answer, for instance. Let's keep looking. School with the slogan Ex Scientia Tridens, familiarly. There's that familiarly again. Oh, there we go. Navy, perhaps? I'm trying to think what school in 4 letters would start with an N. Tridents. I wonder if that has to do with Neptune's trident. That could be a Navy thing. Like an FBI director's term. I don't think the term of an FBI director has any statutory limit intrinsically. That doesn't bother me anymore. Looks like I'm over it. And creation date, file size, and location for an iPhone photo. or any other photo really for that matter. I think at least any other digital photo would be metadata, data that's stored alongside the image information itself. Oh, I see. To drop is to emit. So in this case, to drop a bit of text, say, would be to emit it. And here, so much could be a ton of something. So an FBI director, I suppose, does have a statutory limit, and it's 10-year, I guess. Interesting. I didn't know that. It's new information for me. And here we have Democratic leader. There we go. Just a very simple bit of wordplay. The letter D from the word democratic, the leader of the word democratic, spelled phonetically. Okay, the British royal family has one called the Cambridge Lovers Knot. The British royal family has one called the Cambridge Lovers Knot. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't really follow the royal family all that closely. Up. What ends with TIR like that? Black follower could be, I don't know, in 3 letters, could be black ops, although that doesn't look great with the crosses. What is this? Part of many university names. Well, in the United States anyway, state is a very common one. Up. Huh. Feels though have something wrong in this general zone, but I'm not sure what. Is 10-year not correct? Not sure. I'm going to leave what I have for now, but let's look around and see if I can figure out what's going wrong. Velcro alternative. Velcro alternative. And one's making insulting offers. Underbidders or something? I don't know. Doesn't fit. Lowballers, maybe? That fits. Yeah, you could lowball somebody, which might be considered an insulting offer to buy something that's being sold. I see. Velcro alternative could be laces for shoes, an alternative to Velcro on, I don't know, children's sneakers or something. A strong, dark quaff. A port, I guess? I don't know that you'd call that necessarily strong. Let's see. Some abbey attire. So something monastic. No idea if lowballer is actually correct. Many a confession on a theater stage. Oh, an aside. Often in theatrical, a character will confess something to the audience in an aside so that the other characters are not meant to hear. Cardinal points, abbreviation, and there's a question mark there. So I wonder if this could be, so cardinal points would read ordinarily as the cardinal points on a compass rose, the north, northeast, south, and west, but cardinal, I wonder if that means in religious hierarchy or possibly the bird, the cardinal, or a team, the Cardinals. Is there an American football team called the Cardinals? Could this be touchdowns maybe? I have no idea. Let's see. But it probably ends with an S, doesn't it? And let's game could be saying I'm game. So the answer in the clue. I'm game. Let's do it. I'm game. Okay. Currency units in Peru. Why don't I remember this either? Companion of the droid BB-8 in the Star Wars universe. Did BB-8 have a droid friend? I don't really remember. Maybe it's not another droid. Rey, the character Rey, was Rey BB-8's friend? Maybe. Let's look down. Kind of chart, informal. It could be an org chart. That would make Rey look pretty correct. So what is this? Monitor. I feel with a few more crosses, that's going to look a lot more inviting. Currency unit in Peru, and then what is this one here? Fast fashion. Fast fashion. So we have a question mark. So there's some kind of pun or word play going on in here. Fast fashion. So I wonder, the thing is, both fast and fashion have a number of meanings, and so you could imagine the pun being around either the word fast or fashion, or possibly even both of them. That would be interesting. What about this GR? Gained some courage. Grew a pair sort of works, but it's too few letters, and that does seem sort of odd for the New York Times crossword. But let's see if grew at all is correct. Here, 54 down, we have GameCube successor. So that's a Nintendo video game console, the successor to which was the Wii. So that works, WII. And agronomic analyses. So something around agriculture, the economics of agriculture, I suppose. And here we have Yule log, question mark. So here's a little nod to the festive season. And another. So Yule, Y-U-L-E, there's a question mark, so some kind of pun. Doesn't really seem like Yule is a word that would have very many meanings, right? It essentially means the Christmas season, and I can't think what punny meaning it would have. So I wonder if log, maybe it means log as in a record? Could it be something like Santa's list or something? A Yule, a log, a list, a record related to Christmas? What would that be? The nice list or something, maybe? That's I'm going kind of out on a limb there. I have no idea if that makes any sense. Well, here, actually, this one end of the Mohs scale. So I think the Mohs scale is a scale of hardness of rocks and minerals, that sort of thing. And talc is a very soft rock. So I wonder, that could be one end of it. Decorum, so I don't know, tact and politeness, that sort of thing. Here we have It's the Truth. And here we have noted basilica town. So where is there a famous basilica? This is yet a number of things in this grid I feel probably should be pretty obvious, but are eluding me at first glance. Things picked up on a trail. Clues or most likely to burn, maybe. This nice list might actually be right, because most likely you think is going to end with EST, a superlative. It's the somethingest of something. Most likely to burn. The driest, perhaps? Ear hair? Ear hair. And again, we have the question mark indicator, so something punny. Ear hair. An ear of corn, maybe? What would this be? Don't know. Last blank. I don't know. It could be any number of things. Last call. I mean, there's quite a few. Puccini opera, or the first 5 letters of the maestro who conducted its La Scala premiere. Boy, another thing that is very frustrating that I can't think of a Puccini opera in 5 letters. That's very frustrating. Sorry if many of you are yelling at me for a considerable number of answers in this puzzle today. Gain some courage. Grew a spine. There we go. Okay, there's something. Decorum. Oh, taste, perhaps? Agronomic analyses. Did I say analysis before? Analyses, which makes sense because there's an S at the end from this EST, so it is plural. Soil tests. That makes sense. I guess it's not agricultural economics, but rather agricultural, I don't know, science and statistics, that sort of thing. Okay, it's the truth. Oh, gospel. So the gospel truth, in fact, some you hear said. Oh, Assisi, noted basilica town, Assisi. That sounds right. Okay. And last gasp. There we go. Oh, most likely to burn, maybe palest. So maybe this refers to a person with very light skin, very pale skin, likely to burn. Oh, Tosca, there we go. Oh, and Arturo Toscanini would have been the conductor of that premiere. Not that I would have known that right off the top of my head, but it makes complete sense. So Tosca and Toscanini. There we go. That's interesting. I never, yeah. I wonder if that's been clued that way on the crossword before, because it's a pretty good bit of alignment. And scents are picked up on a trail, and ear hair is a tassel, I suppose. Huh. So a tassel is the sort of fringy bit that decorative fringe that can that's tied onto something. But what is the ear in question to which the tassel is the hair? I don't know. Maybe someone will tell me. They usually do. All right. Monitor. Oh, it looks like. Let's see. Is this grew a spine or gained some courage? Yeah, grew a spine. I was making sure I hadn't mistyped the tense and that it was grow a spine, perhaps, but no, it's grew. All right. So what is this? Monitor. Is Ray not spelled this way? Maybe Ray is spelled R-E-Y. That I just doesn't look like it makes any sense. Yeah, this looks much better with that Y. Sorry if that was very obvious to many of you. So something an eye on. Keep a close eye on. Monitor. Yeah, that looks right. Keep a close eye on. All right, there we go. And a star. Oh, a strong dark quaff. Could it be a Bock beer? Perhaps that's much better than port. I wasn't very confident about port, so I'm glad I didn't type it in. That probably would have just confused me later. But a Bock beer looks right. Here we have flamboyant prop. Could be a boa, a feather boa, a big flamboyant wrap. And some abbey attire. Cowls. The cowls of a monk's robe, a monastic robe. There we go. And fast fashion. Fast fashion. Could it mean fashion as sort of a tendency? You're sort of doing something in a fast fashion, I wonder. Fast. Or it could be fast as in fasting, not eating. There. Oh, tracksuits. There we go. I see. Okay, boy, this is interesting, actually. It'd be kind of funny to see someone try. I wonder how often this has been done. This has probably been done a number of times. A theme in which, I guess it wouldn't even need to be a theme. You could do this in a themeless puzzle, I suppose, as well. But I feel as though there's so many ways you could take the words fast fashion and construct a plausible pun out of it. In this case, fast fashion meaning something you wear while running quickly, a tracksuit. So the fashion of the fast. But boy, those are two words that mean so many different things and therefore mean so many different things together that you could imagine coming up with quite a few answers, all from that one clue. I've certainly solved crosswords where there are two or three of the same clue in a given puzzle, but I wonder how far you could push that. Anyway, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up, well, it certainly looks like about that. Maybe about that, maybe? Here we have the gymnasium of the mind, per Blaise Pascal. Oh, that must be chess. That makes this less obvious to me, though. I don't know. What about this? Crew could be a staff, or staff, or it could be crew, the rowing sport. Not sure. Throws informally. Here we have blank away. Could be get away. What would that be here, though? I wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up, don't know. Two-wheeler at a charging station. An e-scooter, maybe? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, maybe this is about that? So I suppose that makes sense, because in the clue it says I wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up, it's just sort of responding. Someone says something and you say, yeah. In other words, yes, I'm confirming what you're saying, but about that. All right, so I guess that makes sense. And then blank away could be, ask away, as in ask a question. Throws informally. Socks as in throws a punch, maybe? Or throws informally? Crew. Question that cannot be answered if its answer is no. Question that cannot be answered if its answer is no. Is this something about sort of asking if somebody's telling the truth or lying or something, and then if you say no, it's an internal contradiction or an intrinsic contradiction? I'm not sure. Blank Miguel Island, largest of the Azores. Is it São Miguel? Maybe. Not sure. What Twix bars are sold in? They're sold in twos with that O there. Calculus calculation. Area is a common calculus calculation. What else? I am not sure offhand. Underground band. Oh, a seam of an ore or something. I see. Underground band. And there's no question mark indicator. There's no pun because I don't think anything needs to be read in a punny way for this to be literally true. Okay. A cold wave can produce one. A cold wave can produce one. I'm not sure about that. What Shep on The Simpsons is a parody of? No. Shop. Oh. Shop with that sort of Nordic. Oh, I don't know the proper name for it. I can't remember. But it must be IKEA, right? I actually don't know the Simpsons reference, but I'm guessing that shop with a sort of Nordic flourish must be referencing IKEA. All right, so now what about these downs? Alternative to litmus paper. So litmus paper is used for testing purposes. So what would this be? And here we have, oh, I see. Question that cannot be answered if its answer is no. Is you awake? I see. There we go. Couldn't answer no if you in fact were not awake to answer. And a calculus calculation, or rate, okay. A rate of speed or something, I guess. And alternative to litmus paper. And throws informally. Throws informally. There are very few possibilities here, aren't there? There's only one letter remaining. So what is this? Bucks as in bucks a trend? Oh, yeah, maybe. And the bucks is in like a bucking bronco, maybe? Is that what this is? Does that work? I'm not sure. And here we have, oh, right. Maybe this is sow. This is sort of, what is this? Here we have crew. Oh, a posse. This is all sort of looking like something, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And here we have a cold wave can produce one. Is this a perm, like a permanent wavy hair situation? And then alternative to litmus paper. Alternative to litmus paper. Okay, is it a pH strip? Like yeah. Like to determine the baseness or acidity of a substance. And then throws could be hucks, which isn't really a term that I encounter often, but you sort of huck something, you throw it. That sort of looks correct, even though it's not necessarily something I'm all that familiar with. Up. Oh, a stir. Actually, I think actually getting this, seeing this you awake clue put this back in my mind because if you're up, you're awake, you're astir. There we go. And black follower could be black ash, but then what is this? It doesn't look really like anything. Oh, wait a second. I misspelled metadata. Oh my goodness. What a ridiculous move. I'm sorry about that. Metadata. Did I have anything else wrong in here? I don't think so. Anyway, that could be Blackish, which is a sitcom, Blackish, and or I mean maybe it has other meanings as well. I mean, obviously you could just sort of say that's sort of Blackish if you're describing a color, but I suspect it's referring to the sitcom, and the British royal family thing must be a tiara. I'm not familiar with the Cambridge Lovers Not tiara, but that is a pretty plausible answer. I think much more so than whatever I had in here with metadata. Woof. Okay. All right. Let's try and solve this upper area that was giving me quite a bit of trouble. Retreated. Well, with this K, it could be something back, went back, or fell back, drew back, fell back. I think to fall back is to retreat. So let's see. Although if it were drew back, the sequencing locale could be DNA lab again, which I completely gave up on. But let's give that another shot because I do think that seems like a pretty plausible answer. So if we have drew back in here and DNA lab here, that would allow this to be neural net. And then here, golfers Ernie Els and Retief Goosen for 2. This one I really don't know. Obviously, not going to be a big surprise to regular viewers. All the King's Men, question mark. I don't think we saw this clue before, actually. All the King's Men, question mark. What is this? Okay, maybe this is Alas Poor Romeo, and then all the King's Men would be plural, which is quite plausible. Ancient Symbols of Life. Oh, I didn't see this either. See, I keep doing this recently, not actually looking at all of the clues. This is probably Ankhs in ancient Egyptian, hieroglyphics and symbolism. The Ankh is a symbol of life. Recipe direction. Right. This is, I think, the one that, for whatever reason, caused me to doubt this whole area, perhaps. Polish. Rehone or something. Triumphant Shout. Oh, did I look at this one? Maybe, did I? I can't remember. Oh, I did, and I thought it was hurrah. That was the thing. Hurrah and hooray were the thing that put me on the wrong, that undermined my entire grid of fill over here. All right, so this is Eureka, Triumphant Shout. Eureka. I've found it. Who is that? In the bath. Can't remember. All right, recipe direct. I'm having a forgetful day, aren't I? Recipe direction. Oh, beat, maybe, as in beat eggs. Oh, Richard Wright. Ah, boy, I am having a real off day with the old memory, aren't I? All the King's Men, I see lieges, lords, and polish could be OIT, to refine, to polish an idea, to refine an idea, for instance. Golfer Ernie Els and Retief Goosen. Oh, are they Afrikaners, perhaps? Gets the batter out, say, oh, here's bakes. That's funny. So that was bake, a word that I thought maybe would go in recipe direction, but it did not. This does look like Afrikaners. And Wolf's Home. Oh, and this was another one that I thought maybe was Den, and it put me on the wrong track. And this is the second time we've had this in relatively recent memory, this Wolf's Home thing. This refers to Wolf Blitzer, a news reader on the cable network CNN in the United States. Oh, okay. That really got me. Is this it? There we go. All right. That was a tricky puzzle for me, but I really enjoyed it. It wasn't my finest performance, I would say, but but it was a full of very interesting words, I would say. this was very funny. This is maybe one of my favorite answers in the crossword recently. Yule log, meaning nice list. This is a great way to take a themeless puzzle and put in a really nice nod to the day, in this case, Christmas Eve. Yule log being nice list. I just think that's incredibly clever. I'm pleased given how many times in this puzzle I didn't think of the thing that I very much should have thought of earlier. I'm glad I at least puzzled through nice list reasonably quickly, but I just think that's an incredibly clever clue. And a lot of really good fill in this puzzle. Just sort of good, interesting collections of words on top of each other. I mean, this whole area, which was the part that was hard for me, drew back, neural net, Afrikaners, lieges, onks, beat. I mean, there's just not a lot of sort of generic crossword fill. These are all pretty, I don't know how to put it, they're pretty chunky, substantial words and phrases that are filling this crossword here. Keep a close eye on. I mean, anytime you get a grid spanning answer, I do always enjoy that generally. There's just a lot of nice things around this grid. It's very well filled. This Tosca, I wish I'd gotten this much more quickly, but I really like this. The Puccini opera, or the first 5 letters of the maestro who conducted. It's La Scala Premiere. That's a very clever clue. Don't know what this ear hair tassel thing is, so that's a shame. On my part, I mean. Talc crossing soil tests is kind of fun. Those are both have a geological bent, I should say, and belt. Yeah, I just think this is a very nice grid with a really good range of answers. So stop waxing rhapsodic about it. I'm glad that on a day when my solving skills were maybe not the best, at least the crossword puzzle was very good. So well done, Evan Kalish or Kalish. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. If you did enjoy this video, please do subscribe to the channel. I will be back tomorrow on Christmas for Christmas Day for the Saturday puzzle, and I hope you join me for that. That'll be the Saturday. So if it's harder than this one, I'll need to make sure I get an early start because I found this one to be fairly tricky. And it is Saturday, so it is intended to be harder, more difficult than Fridays today. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheDailySolve. Post about this series each day. And if you're interested in chatting and hanging out with other members of the Daily Solve community, you can do that on the Discord chat server. There's a link to that in the description field underneath each video. And there's a daily discussion about each New York Times crossword, about other crosswords, people constructing crosswords on that Discord and posting their creations, which I really enjoy. I've not done any of the ones that have been in there this week because I'm waiting until I can solve them all on video when I get some free time to do that for the Patreon campaign. And speaking of that, if you'd like a whole wealth of bonus solves as well as an additional secret channel on that Discord chat server, you can get all of these things by backing the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. And the link to that, as well as to the Discord chat server, are in the description field underneath the video. Anyway, that's that, I suppose. I will wrap this video up. So thanks for joining me. I do hope you'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday Christmas Day puzzle. And until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Friday. Take care.